One-way ticket, yeah. This is how the mic sounds with the collar turned. I have absolutely no idea what that is. There is something rattling around in this microphone.
We're going to be picking up the sound of the bass.
We're going to be picking up the sound of the treble. In hand. It also sounds the funkiest of all of them. You can hear the tone of the mic. Someone, put your headphones back on. Put your headphones back on. Yeah, can you hear me now? That's what it's designed for. This is the Violet Design finger microphone. This microphone is a wide cardioid design, especially useful if you're using it as a drum overhead. It doesn't suffer quite as badly from the proximity effect as you get up to the microphone. But when you're a reasonable distance away from it, it sounds very natural indeed. Frequency response from about 20 to 20. It's still utilising the principles of a cardioid microphone. Capsule looks fantastic. The back of the mic looks awesome. This tube thing in the middle all looks glorious. Fantastic mic. So this is the proximity effect with me right up on top of this microphone. MX412. The cartridge on it has changed. It was previously this cartridge, which is a MX185 in cardioid, and now it's this, which is an MX184 hypercardioid. Unscrewed the cardioid capsule, screwed on the hypercardioid capsule, and this is how it sounds. Hanford Audio stub mic, and this is a handmade mic. They're made in batches, so they're not always available, and they cost about £90 here in the UK, and they're typically used on the end of a gooseneck as a talkback microphone, so it has a very limited frequency response and is kind of like the equivalent of an AKG D58, and they're a tiny little mic just like this stub mic. Check what it sounds like when you're right on top of the microphone so you can hear the tone of the mic. So I would assume that this would be designed from someone in a control room going, yeah, you need to turn your mic up. Yeah, put your headphones back on. Put your headphones back on. Yeah, can you hear me now? That's what it's designed for. So this is a Sanyo Blue Top, I'm going to call it, and it's a vintage 1960s omnidirectional microphone with a captive lead and a 1/8 inch jack on the end of it, so 3.5mm jack plug, and it's running into my SSL2 audio interface, and this is how it sounds. So I like these little microphones, although they're probably the cheapest of the bunch, because unlike the Telefunkens and Sennheisers, which do actually do a good job of audio reproduction, that is to say they're trying to faithfully reproduce the sound, with the exception of maybe a bit of a weird top end on them, this definitely does not. So this sounds very funky and gives a very vintage vibe for what it is. So if that's what you're looking for, a bit of a vintage sound, then this will probably give it you. It's the Sanyo Blue Top vintage 1960s omnidirectional. TS jack cable on the end line level input into the audio interface, and this is how it sounds. Typically it's used on things like cymbals because it's got a zingy high end, given it wasn't necessarily intended to have any high frequency response when run in the 1960s into tape recorders. In the modern age it provides an interesting but high quality flavour to the top end. Microphone is another Sanyo, although a little bit unusual in the respect that it's not branded. So all the other Sanyos have had the word Sanyo written on them, this one doesn't. It also has a place for a switch, but there isn't a switch on it. It also sounds the funkiest of all of them, so I don't really know what to make of this particular microphone. It's got a slightly larger body than all of the other Sanyos I've tested. On its feel, being made in Germany, I believe this is actually a Sennheiser microphone, just purely based on its weight and feel and sound. So It's a dynamic microphone. It does have a DIN connection on the end of it, and this is what it sounds like. To find out, but I found out now. This is an AKG D19 Beatles microphone. And to find one that hasn't been dropped, smashed, broken, and in what this is, working order, is a bit of a unicorn. So definitely rare and used on the Beatles. One-way ticket, yeah. This is how the mic sounds with the collar turned. I have absolutely no idea what that did. To go along with my AKG 310, the switchless version of the 330 BT ABBA microphone, I got this, an Audio-Technica bass with an XLR in the back, so I can plug the iRig Pre-HD and Gorbachev in hand. This microphone is the AKG P420, and the P420 uses a 1-for-1 copy of the U87i from Neumann. It also uses a 1-for-1 recreation of the Neumann U87 capsule in the form of a tack star. So this particular U87 clone has been modified to bring the frequency response 100% in line with the U87i, albeit with a slightly extended bass response. So one more time, this is the U87 clone, known as the modified Perception or P420 by AKG.